Hello. Today is December 24th, 2023. It's Christmas Eve. I hope everybody has had a good day and it will have a great day tomorrow, Christmas Day. This year is rapidly drawing to a close, a challenging year for many of us in our individual lives as well as internationally. Today we had a good service at Bethel AME Church in Corsicana, and it's on our Facebook page and also on YouTube. So if you hadn't already done so, I hope you'll check it out. My wife and I went this evening to attend another service at the St. John's Episcopal Church in Corsicana, and it was also a very nice service in celebration of Christmas Eve, including Holy Communion. I want to talk about a man tonight that I've done a lot of study about. Anybody who knows me well knows that I have a lifelong interest in fraternal organizations. I've done a lot of writing about Freemasonry and other fraternal orders, which I've been involved in for many years. Another organization that I am involved in is Modern Woodmen of America. I say I'm involved. I haven't actually been active in many years as far as attending activities, but I've been a member with life insurance and annuities, etc. It's now called Modern Woodmen Fraternal Financial. But it was on this day, Christmas Eve, 1913, that's 110 years ago, in Hendersonville, North Carolina, that the founder of Modern Movement of America passed away. His name was Joseph Cullen Root. There is a destiny that makes us brothers. None goes this way alone. All that we send into the lives of others comes back into our own. These beautiful words constitute the creed of Modern Woodmen of America. They were well exemplified by the life of Joseph Cullen Root. He was the most prolific founder of fraternal benefit societies America has produced, and his life was highly productive. Toward the end of his life, Root was to say, I've spent nearly a generation of years in this work, not for pelf or wealth, not for praise or fame, but in an effort to help my fellow men up the heights, to give assistance to the noblest pursuit of man and woman. He's called a giant of American fraternalism. He was born on December 3rd, 1844 in Chester, Massachusetts. At the age of 9, he moved with his family to Belvidere, Illinois, later to Fulton, Illinois, and then finally to Lyons, Iowa, which is now known as Clinton, Iowa. 1865, he graduated from Eastman Business College in Poughkeepsie, New York. As a young man, he operated a number of businesses, including a mercantile establishment, a grain elevator, and 2 flour mills. He sold insurance and real estate, taught classes in bookkeeping, managed a lecture bureau. He held a confirmed conviction that Freemasonry and other fraternal orders have an important role to play in the promotion of human welfare. I fully believe that, although I recognize that these organizations don't have near the following they once had. Root joined Lyons Lodge, number 93, in Lyons, Iowa. He was initiated as entered apprentice July 20th, 1877, passed to the degree of fellowcraft on December 28th, 1877, and raised to the sublime degree of Master Mason March 30th, 1880. He received the 32nd degree of the Scottish Rite on March 14th, 1884, and after relocating to Omaha, Nebraska, he became a member of the Mount Moriah Lodge of Perfection, Semper Fidelis chapter of the Rose Croix, St. Andrew's Council of Kadosh, and Nebraska Consistory. On October 19th, 1897, he was elected an act commander of the Court of Honor, 32nd degree KCCH. Then on December 4th, 1899, he received the 33rd degree in the Southern jurisdiction of the Scottish Rite. He also had membership in the Knights Templar, the Knights of Pythias, and the Independent Order of Oddfellows. He was involved heavily in fraternities, including other groups that provided insurance benefits, such as the Iowa Legion of Honor, the Ancient Order of United Workmen, founded by another interesting man, John Jordan Upchurch, and VAS, that is Vera Amicita Sempiterna, that is, a true friendship is eternal. He set up the accounting systems and wrote the rituals for two fraternal organizations that were mentioned here. And no doubt in his preparation for these and later rituals, he borrowed elements from Masonry, Odd Fellowship, and Pythianism. His membership in so many fraternal orders, his years' experience of insurance, contributed to his destiny as a leader in the field of fraternal insurance. Eventually, he would be responsible for the establishment of Modern Movement of America, Woodmen of the World Life Insurance Society, Woodmen of the World Pacific Jurisdiction, Canadian Woodmen of the World, Supreme Forest Woodman Circle, Neighbors of Woodcraft, and indirectly, the Royal Neighbors of America. Royal Neighbors was at one time an all-women's organization. It's co-ed now, as is Modern Woodmen and these other groups. But Royal Neighbors started out as being equivalent to the Eastern Star and its relation to Masonry, or the Rebeccas and their relation to Odd Fellowship. And in July of 1882, Root heard a sermon by the Reverend Sidney Crawford at the First Congregational Church in Lyons, Iowa, about pioneer woodmen clearing away the forest to provide for their families. Thus, he was inspired to organize Modern Woodmen of America as a society that would clear away problems of financial security for its members. He felt the use of the term ancient by so many fraternities was dishonest, and thus described his new order as modern. He saw the word woodman as alluding to noble vocation. Since his order was native to American soil, he felt that the addition of the words of America were quite appropriate. He saw his brainchild as linked with his name of Root and visualized an order growing in the same manner as a tree in the forest grove from its roots. On January 5th, 1883, he established Modern Woodmen of America at Lyons, Iowa. He wrote the ritual. I recently got a copy from Amazon, found interesting reading. It's not used much today, unfortunately. He served as the first venerable consul of Pioneer Camp Number 1, the first head consul of the new order. In 1888, the Royal Neighbors of America was established as the Ladies' Auxiliary. As I say, the two orders are now separate, and both of them admit men and women. By 1889, there were 42,694 Modern Woodmen members. Despite massive growth, there was not smooth sailing. 1889, a major conflict developed between Root and the head physician, Dr. P.L. McKinney. Soon, the order's hierarchy was marked by animosities and accusations of false beneficiary claims. In 1890, Root resigned and moved to Omaha, Nebraska, where on June the 3rd, he organized Woodmen of the World, The name resulted from his desire to both to maintain the name Woodman and to build an order which would be international in scope. At this time, a separate Pacific jurisdiction was established in Denver, Colorado, and both of these Women of the World organizations still exist. And growing up in Waco, many times saw this Women of the World War Memorial on the grounds of the McLennan County Courthouse. And in the summer of 1973, when I was working for Southwestern Company in Pulaski, Virginia, one of my customers was a man named Herman Quessenberry, an agent for Modern Woodmen of America. I'd never heard of Modern Woodmen before. I asked if they were connected with Woodmen of the World, and I told they were not. I learned later that Modern Woodmen was established in 1883, which was 140 years ago, and that the Women of the World was established in 1890. So Modern Woodmen is slightly older than Women of the World. I will say this, that at one time there was also a predominantly African American organization called the Supreme Camp of the American Woodmen. They have since been absorbed or merged with one of the branches of Women of the World. And they had the same relation to the other Woodmen groups as Prince Hall Masonry has to the predominantly white Masonic organizations. And if you listen to my videos enough, you know that this color line in the fraternal organizations is slowly but surely breaking down. I thank God I've lived to see it. But it was on December 17th of 1913 that year he attended Woodmen of the World conventions in Florida and Ohio. November, he began visiting southern camps, touring Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, Florida, and Virginia. On the 17th of December, while on a train near Hendersonville, North Carolina, he became ill and grew gradually worse. He died in Hendersonville on Christmas Eve of that year, December 24th, 1913. His body was returned to Lyons, where a ceremony was held in the Congregational Church. On the 29th of December, his funeral was held at the Root family home in Omaha, and burial was in the mausoleum of the Forest Lawn Cemetery in Omaha. By the time of his death, Women of the World had nearly 700,000 members in over 10,800 camps. Insurance in force amounted to over $927 million. Although through 1913, the society had paid $553,004 to beneficiaries. More than 45,000 Woodman monuments would be seen above graves of members throughout the United States. And I've seen a number of those Woodmen of the World monuments at various cemeteries I've visited. And today, the various Woodmen organizations established by Root continue to provide valuable insurance protection, fraternal benefits to thousands of members. His fact is a testimony to the great vision of this organizational genius of this giant of American fraternalism. And here's a picture of Joseph Cullen Root. By the way, when I was in Virginia 50 years ago, I met Herman Quessenberry. He told me about Modern Woodmen. I reconnected with him during the 1990s. I joined Modern Movement of America in Waco in 1991, written up by the local camp secretary, Liz Flores, who has passed away since then. And I also attended a lot of different camp activities that we had, and um, I wrote numerous articles for the Waco Citizen newspaper about the Woodman activities. I left Waco in 1998 and have not been to a camp meeting or activity since then, but I still maintain life insurance and annuities with Modern Woodman and have written some, hope to be able to write some more about it in the future. I was hoping to make it to Pulaski, Virginia, where I sold books 50 years ago. Due to surgeries my wife had, I was unable to go, but I'm trusting I'll be able to do that sometime in 2024. And among other places I want to visit, there's the grave of Herman Quessenberry. Here's a few pictures I've collected. There's some early Woodman campmen. Anamosa Camp. They had at one time these forester units that took part in parades. As much as, and I've been told they haven't existed since the 1940s. As much as I love marching in parades, I regret that they don't have that anymore. And ritual is very similar. Well, it's borrowed from Masonry and other fraternal orders. And most, as far as initiation goes, it's fallen by the wayside. You attend you pay premiums like any insurance company, but they do have fraternal benefits and dinners and various service projects, more so than with other types of policies. So I've been able to collect quite a few historic pictures about this. And my articles in the Waco Citizen about Modern Woodman, the date on the first one was September 4th, 1991. Actually, wait a minute, that's not my article. But it was in Tiempo newspaper. I wrote some for them October 4th, 1991, about a pizza party that they sponsored. And I spoke at a few of those meetings as well. The last article I had published in the Waco Citizen was January 17th through the 18th, 1998. Too Cool for Trouble Club is making a difference. And it was that August that I left Waco. I've since moved to Dallas, to Ennis, and now to Corsicana. Liz Flores passed away in 2002. And I wrote an article that was published both in Tiempo, the local Hispanic paper, and in the Waco Citizen of Liz Flores, the great lady of woodcraft. And in 2008, I published an article about Ann Smith, who had worked at one time for Modern Movement of America, but 2008, she was working for the Supreme Lodge of SPJST, the Slavonic Benevolent uh, Order of Texas, another organization to which I belong. I got involved in that when I went to Ennis. So, anyway, what I read from was from the article I published in 1998 in the Scottish Rite Journal regarding Joseph Cullen Root, who was a very interesting man. He died 110 years ago today in Hendersonville, North Carolina. Everybody have a Merry Christmas and a happy and blessed New Year. I'm signing off.